Restart. I can't believe how this. Hey guys, sorry we're late. I had to restart my computer. Sorry. I did an update like earlier in the week, and I thought I restarted it, but apparently
Technical difficulties.
required another restart. So let me check this real quick. Hold on. Sorry guys, I'm doing this live. Sorry. Come on.
You want to know how to find it.
All right. Hey everybody, how you doing, guys? We're show tonight is I don't know my show notes up because I had to restart my computer. So is what is it called?
Playing Your Own Way.
Play Your Own Way.
Episode 750.
Thank you, Chad. 750. Wow. Thank you, Chad. Playing Your Own Way. So, guys, give us a call tonight, 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. Give us a call. Let's have a discussion about playing your own way. What do you think about that? I know you all love to have your little your thoughts on it. So let's share them tonight. Here we go. All right, Chad, you ready to go?
Ready.
All right. Jeff, I'm going to mute you. Okay. All right, Chad, here we go. In 3, 2. Make sure everything's right. That's too high. Sorry. Check that. 3, 2, 1.
You want to know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash. On the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday at 8:30, which means it's once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Burks. We have Shorty that's out on assignment tonight. Please welcome. We do to my virtual left, my co-host, Jazz 427.
Howdy, y'all. I did it my way. That's what Sinatra would say.
Tonight's episode, Chad, 750. We're halfway to 800, Chad. Tonight's episode 750, recorded live on January 11th, 2023, is Playing Your Own Way. Phone lines are open. Give us a call, 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. And for you international callers, you can call us free via the web on callstudio.com/show/GCPC. But first, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about Patreon, Chad.
Yeah. Got to pay those bills.
It's a new year. It's a new Patreon. New year, new Patreon. So, Chad, so did you see what I put on Patreon last week?
Did what?
See what I put on Patreon last week?
No, I was thinking about looking right before the show, but I was lazy.
You were lazy.
Lazy.
Yeah. All right, we'll go take a look. So, guys, there's two ways you can help us out. You can go to PayPal. It's paypal.me/the geocaching podcast, and you make a one-time donation, or Chad, you join Patreon. You got extra audio, extra video, only available to our Patreon members. You get stickers and pat tags and coins and buttons. I think that's everything. You get Patreon-only shows, the coveted Patreon-only giveaway show at the end of the year. That's always a lot of fun. You guys should have received all your stuff. The only thing missing is the people from out of the country. That is still in my cardboard box right here. I got to get over there. So I had to get the slips of paper for what's it called, Jen? What did I have to do? What did I show you? The to get into the country. It's the slips of paper.
Oh, the
whatever it's called. I had to get them. Yeah.
The export forms, customs forms. Yeah.
So that's I'll get it out. Don't worry, guys. Jesse is out on assignment tonight. Unfortunately, guys, no Jess tonight, but we do have Geoffrey May of Cash the Line here tonight. He'll be on in just a second. We just gotta get to this stuff right here. So, guys, you want to join Patreon? You can. You go to patreon.com, patreon.com/the geocaching podcast.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
And tonight we're gonna have to go back and forth on this. Chad.
Yes.
Don't forget about that. And we're also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook made with genuine write in the rain paper. The logbook designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go cash than do cash maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher Magazine is the magazine written by geocachers, or for geocachers, written by geocachers with 6 issues a year. FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Bee Gone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And by Arted Crafted. Arted Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your geocaching group, with adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL. If you have an idea for a shirt design and cannot find it, you've come to the right place. Please give us the opportunity to show you how we can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com.
And by pattags.com for all your swag and pat tag needs. Visit our website to get creative help to trade or log tags or to purchase your own personalized pat tags. With over 47,000 tags to collect, pattags.com is everything you need to start your pat tag session. Visit them at pattags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And by Geocaching Adventures LLC. Geocaching Adventures is a full-service travel agency specializing in creating the ultimate worldwide geocaching adventures for cachers and non-cachers alike. What could be better than having your geocaching bucket list vacation all planned and led by a traveling expert? Learn more by visiting us at geocachingadventuresllc.com. That's geocachingadventuresllc.com.
And finally, by GeoGo. Go caching with GeoGo, the geocaching app for Android that includes a Where Go player, trackable scanner, companion watch app, and county finds database. If you are an advanced geocacher, GeoGo helps with powerful features like nearby cache notifications, optimized routes, offline mode, bulk TB logging, and much, much more. Learn more by visiting us at geogo.com. That's GOH-GO.com.
And as always, go with that.
Yes.
And as always, Chad, you can find our links to our sponsors on our website or
in our show notes.
In our show notes.
I'm just glad I didn't have the Geocaching Adventures LLC because I've never said that one. The GeoGo was like in my rotation for like a few weeks before, for a little while, and then out. The rest of them I know pretty well.
Nice. There you go. Oh, look, Kelsey is in the blueprint stage of her first path tag.
Woohoo!
Nice, Kels. Make sure you send me one. You got one of mine. I think, yes, you got one of mine. And all right, Chad. So we got no news. I don't think we have any news. You have any news, Chad? I know.
No, I have mailed out my stuff, and everyone that I mailed it out got a pat tag as well, and
look at you,
and some the going caching cards.
Oh, Chad, he's so nice.
So finally got them out. Somewhere between the last show and this morning.
Did we ever get
more likely this morning?
Our going caching cards, the Cleopatra one?
No, so I guess since we didn't pay for them, this is like they were giving it to us gratis. We just got the one the proof, and that's it.
If anybody has doubles of that, send me one. I don't.
Yeah, send me one too.
I don't have one.
I need to ask Linda. Say, hey, did you get doubles of that?
I didn't get it. Yeah, I mean, I created it, so I know what it looks like, but I don't have a tangible like in my hand.
Right. I just had the image of it. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So tonight, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight we're talking. So let me back up a second. months ago. Guys, I've said this a million times. I can't read the chat room. Occasionally, I'll glance at the chat room, like as I'm flipping things around. I'm juggling too many things here. Jesse usually reads it. Chad reads it. What I do after the show, I go back and I scroll and I read it. So I'm scrolling after a show months. I'm probably November, October, and I see Geoff May is in the chat and he's talking and he's having a good debate with somebody about cashing your own way. And I'm like, that's a show right there. And so, so I shoot Chad. I shoot Geoff an email. And I say, hey, I would love to have you on the show next year, which is now. Talking about this. Would you want to come on? He said, absolutely, let's do it. So we set up a date, and here he is, everybody. Geoff May is on the show. Cash the Line. You may know him from Cash the Line. You know him from the old host of Challenge Cash.
Challenge Talk.
No, excuse me. Challenge Talk on the Cash Talk Network. Welcome to the show, Geoff. Is it Jeffrey or is it Geoff?
Just Geoff.
Yeah,
or Bruce. I answer to Bruce as well.
Yeah, because you're cashing it. Let's start with. We got to start with that. What is the Bruce? Let's start with that.
It just spawned from a nickname that I was called. Some old friends thought that I looked like a Bruce, so they called me Bruce. So I started answering to Bruce every time, all over the place, all the time. And so when I just moved into more internet stuff, it was the Bruce.
The Bruce.
Because there was a connection to there's a whole bunch of connections, but the main connection was Robert the Bruce from Braveheart. I just really liked that character, and I thought, oh, the Bruce, that sounds unique.
That's funny. I guess you have to answer to Bruce if it's in your cash.
Right.
Bruce, which Bruce? This Bruce, that Bruce. Hello, Bruce. Welcome, Bruce. Have you met Bruce?
Do people who meet you go, you mean your name is Geoff? Really?
Well, because of Scott, I got to answer to 3 names.
What, Chaz?
Chaz, Taz, and Chad.
So Geoff, let's talk about guys. You want to join this conversation? You absolutely can. We would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Absolutely. 808-468-7924. 808 Got Swag. Talk to us. I want to hear your thoughts on this conversation. So, playing your own way. Let's talk about that. This game that we play, this activity, I call it an activity. I don't think it's a sport or a game. I think it's an activity that we play. Can you play your own way? I'm going to start with you, Chad. Can you play your own way?
To a degree, and you're wrong. It is a game and a sport,
an activity,
and an activity. You got that part right,
Geoff.
Hobby.
Can you play your own way?
That is such a nuanced question.
I know Chad took the easy way out.
Within the realm of ability that you have, you can play your own way.
Okay, expand on that. What do you mean?
Within the realm of the guidelines, within the realm of community etiquette, I mean, that is still technically an option. You could be the least fun, most awful player and play within the guidelines. Nobody likes you, but you can still play. So, I mean, technically, within the guidelines, you can play however you want.
Sure. I am going to read something. I'm going to read. Jesse's not here, but Jesse wrote a log from 2015 that I really like, and it sums it up. This is Jesse writing in a log for GLG FAVNY is the cache. How could it be GLG? It's got to be GCG. Is it? I don't know.
Actually, GL goes directly to the geocache log.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So thank you. Wow, I never knew that. I was today days old. So this log says FTF with Scott Burks and MGB Music. I had stopped by here once before with Tepper when it first published, short on time, and really didn't care that much. It then went on my ignore list, mainly due to the implications of the hint. But you see, here's the thing. This is not a game. There's no competition, no score, no giant trophy waiting for you at the end. There are no rules. There are no winners, and certainly no losers. Geocaching is simply an activity with some guidelines. Everyone plays differently. There is no right, no wrong, just different. Fortunately, I have found that most cachers play the same way I do. We're just out to have fun, explore new places, enjoy nature, and enjoy other people's company. Not that we always see eye to eye, but we have enough self-respect and respect for others that we are able to recognize and celebrate our differences. Not to try and bring others down. These are some of the nicest people I've met, and I'm sure I will remain friends with many of them for a long, long time. Thoughts on that, Chad?
Sounds reasonable.
Very heartfelt. Very nice.
That sounds very Jesse.
See, now to back that up, she's not here to defend it, and not that I'm making her defend it, but this was a log on a cache from cachers who they're the kind of people that love to actually, they love it when you don't find their stuff. They're not, they are the people, like, they get upset when people find their caches. They're those kind of caches.
The FU hide ones.
Not even an FU hide. It's no, they're friends with no one. They mind their own business. They don't even try to make an effort. And like I was telling Geoff before, they're the kind of people that hide it 60 feet up a tree with the cords 40 feet off, and it's a 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd call that an FU hide.
But that's not even an FU hide. That's like, you're not going to find it unless you spend 3 hours climbing every tree.
See, and that's the problem with something like that. If the information that people go by is not consistent, then technically it can be dealt with by a reviewer. If it can get reported. So
and I was telling you, these people they got banned from geocaching. They don't even cache anymore.
Yeah, well, if it's 40 feet off is too much.
Yeah.
That's it's supposed to be within 30 feet by the guidelines.
I have no problem with an evil hide. I love a good FU hide. I have no problem with 60 feet up a tree and it being a micro. Just make it good cords. Like, give me good.
I've got one or had one where it was 15 feet off, but it was also the difficulty was 4.5.
See, this
terrain was like 1.5, and it was kind of placed between a trash can, bleachers, and dugout. It was in the dugout.
Mm-hmm.
It was well hidden. And the only hint was it was magnetic. But you're going to earn that difficulty rating on that one. It was intentionally a FU hide.
Well, and speaking of like vague listings like coordinates, I think Tyva just mentioned in the chat, with no description or hint, and the name is misleading. Technically, if you think about it, how accurate does the listing have to be? If you just put a name and coordinates and the minimum requirements, then is that sufficient? And how accurate? Because you don't have to put a hint.
No, but you should put a good.
You don't have to put attributes.
You should have a good hint, and in my opinion, you should have a good DT rating.
Yeah.
The intent should be that the information that's available is accurate in and of itself, however much you put.
Right.
And then that should be
because
enough.
If you got a tree climb and your terrain is 1.5, that's BS.
No, and they're always
like 1 foot off the ground.
Yeah, they're always 1.5. They don't even use it, or maybe a 2, maybe. But it's like, going in. The problem is when it's like that, it's and then it's 40 feet away, 60 feet up a tree,
right?
And it's a micro,
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you don't even have to put a tree climb attribute if it's 60 feet up a tree.
Yeah, but like, it got to the point where people stop hunting their stuff. Is what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, the reputation gets around, and then it's this owner and it's this type of hide. Oh,
yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
So I wanted to start with that, just because I thought that was nice what she said, and I think to me I pretty much agree with almost all of that. Explains it. I agree with just how the game should be played. I believe let's go personal, and I'll go to each one of you. To me, playing your own way, to me, okay, is and I know there's guidelines to the game, and I respect the guidelines to the best of my abilities, but I'm gonna play my way. To me it's a personal game. People say it's not about numbers. That's bull. Of course it's about numbers. We all want to know what numbers I go because I want to know how many numbers I can.
It's not exclusively about the numbers.
No, but right. it is. But to say it's not is BS. But to me personally, I play my way, and because it's a personal game. It's my game. What's the
Right.
difference, So that's how I play it. Chad, what about you?
I definitely play it my way. I mean, and that's why I have more mystery cash funds than I have traditionals. I mean, if I was, not doing it for my personal enjoyment and just going out there to get numbers, there's a heck of a lot more traditionals out there to go find, and they're a heck of a lot easier, effectively, to find. You don't have stuff to solve.
Mhm.
I also wouldn't be signing challenge caches left and right and doing them.
Well, you also, Chad, you're the kind of cashier that you won't you will go back if you sign a puzzle cache, you will go back and solve it.
Yeah, if I have corrected chords from someone else while I'm out caching with them, and I sign my name to a log, I go back and solve it before I sign my name to the log.
But that is totally playing
But that's playing, that's playing my own way.
I do not do that. Why would I? That
I-
seems silly. Why would
I would say there is a very high percentage of people that I cache with that go out and find puzzle caches that solve somewhere between no percent to a fair high percent, but it ranges by the individual, and I have no problem with them doing that.
Jeff, what about you?
I think every time people talk about everybody plays their own way, it always tends to come down to actually describing how they enjoy the hobby, how they enjoy the activity. So to me, play your own way means we enjoy it our own way. So we all enjoy different things about geocaching.
Absolutely.
We all focus on certain aspects of it and all that. And I think that is really what most people are meaning. My problem is when people use "we all play our own way" to do things that negatively affect other people and use that as an excuse.
Example.
So, like, Scott just in chat just said, "What do people think about Scott removing bison tubes from LPCs? Is that playing it Scott's way?"
Yeah, it is.
Well, it is, but it's also negatively affecting other people. So really what I'm thinking of with play your own way, I'm kind of extending it to thinking outwardly to how your actions while playing the hobby affect other people as well, how it affects the local community's health. Because the more that you play it your own way and ignoring what other people think and not caring about the fact that what you're doing somebody else doesn't like, to a degree, obviously, the worse the community can get. Individual owners might have their caches ignored, or there could be rumors and chats about people behind their backs at social events. It kind of pulls the community down when people use that excuse, play your own way, to continue doing something that blatantly upsets other people.
Yeah,
So I mean, there's a spectrum. It's not like you can play and not hurt or not upset anybody at all. You can't. Not everybody
you can't.
Like you, right?
That's impossible.
Right. So within the realm of rationality, of reasonability, we play how we enjoy it, and I believe that play your own way should include thinking about the community. Whether even if that applies to good maintenance habits or to what degree, things like that. You want to help the hobby, the activity, be fun for people and for the community.
Of course.
So instead of just like, well, screw everybody else, how about trying to uplift the community and do things that everybody enjoys? Think of others first.
There's certain etiquette out there that if you don't follow that etiquette, impacts other players. For example, well, I know a better hiding place than where this was. I'm going to go hide it there. That is, not doing what the cache owner intended. It's putting it somewhere else, and it also potentially impacts the cache owner when someone DNFs it, and you go out there and attempt to find it, and it's not where in the hidey hole that you had placed it. So put the caches back where you found them, and exceptions. There are almost always exceptions that prove the rule. You find something that is obviously a hanger laying on the ground because it's got a wire hook on it, then it was like, okay, take a picture of it. Take a picture where you replace it on on the tree or whatever, wherever you're hanging it, and send it to the cache owner and say, I found this on the ground. Here's where I put it. I hope this is the right location. And that way the cache owner knows what happened.
And as another example, just over New Year's, we found a cache that a few years earlier couldn't find, DNF'd it, had other finders there, and they said it wasn't there. So went there this time and started looking and had trouble finding it. It was a rocks cache. The hint was in the rocks, or sign, which was itself kind of odd. The title was in the rocks, but there was a sign right next to the rocks by the lake. And so how do you interpret that? Because sign is the hint, but the rocks is what the title is saying. Mm-hmm. So we managed to find 2 caches. One was on the sign, magnetic nano, and the other one was the container that was in the rocks, which is what the prior finders I was with last time was saying that's where it should be. And so somewhere along the line, somebody couldn't find the container and put a new cache on the sign, thinking that was where it should be.
Right.
Yeah.
It's near the sign, so people are like, and there's also this really funky sign that's being eaten by the tree that the cache is supposed to be next to. So how do you interpret the hint, right? So the hint was supposed to indicate it's right next to the sign at the tree and the rocks, because the title said in the rocks. So there was a little bit of confusion there. And so most likely somebody thought they were doing the right thing by saying, oh, okay, the cache is probably missing. Probably means it's on the sign. Put a throwdown on the sign.
Yeah, but why would someone put a throwdown? You shouldn't put
I let the cache owner know, and they're dealing with it.
Playing your own way. But that's not even playing your own way.
That's playing their way. So is that right? If they say everybody plays their own way.
So their way is 0 DNFs. That's their way of playing.
So like this is what I mean, because a lot of people will defend throwdowns if it's obvious where it should
I'll
be.
Defend a throwdown. I'll defend. My theory is nobody should DNF a lamp skirt. That should.
Right.
It should be.
Again, should they? Because what if it's supposed to be higher up? What if it's magnetic up on the pole instead of under a lamp skirt?
If the DT is a 1.5, and the hint is LPC.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's absolutely clear that where the cache should be, like the other example,
right? And you searched and made sure that it wasn't Velcroed up.
Yeah,
underneath there, which I have found a number of those.
That happened to me. Somebody dumped. I put a nano on top. And somebody, and there was a drop, there was a throwdown under. I'm like, dude.
I tend to do that. So, like, if I find a cache that's clearly not where it's supposed to be, and there's absolutely no question, then I'll say that, yeah, I found it on the ground, so I put it back where the hint indicates it should be, or something like that. But I'm not going to be like, I think it was hidden better over here, and then
no,
kind of matches the hint or something. If it's absolutely clear, otherwise, I'll put it back exactly where I found it and make note of that in the log, and then the owner can decide.
And that being said, I will not throw down unless I know the cacher, and I will shoot him a text. If I don't know the cacher, I don't throw. I throw a DNF. I don't replace like that. That being said, on every single one of my LPCs, not that I have a ton of them, but I do have some. I put in my description, drop. Nobody DNFs. You should never DNF an LPC. If it's not there, it's under. If it's not there, drop one down. Feel free.
The issue of throwdowns is another topic on itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it is technically against the guidelines.
Yeah, it is against the guidelines and also container quality. I mean, some people throw throwdowns that are, it's not even worth the time. I mean, I've seen them in, something like this SD card container, and it's like, really? Like that's going to last 5 minutes?
Yeah. And when I think of throwdowns, it's like, well, how does the owner, how can the owner verify that the container is exactly where it should be? I mean, apart from, say, taking your camera and doing a live video feed saying, okay, see, there's nothing here exactly where you know that it should be. Do you want me to put a replacement here? Then that's about as close as you can get without the cache owner coming down and doing the maintenance themselves. So apart from that, if you say, yeah, okay, I put it here, they have to trust that you put it where it should be, that you said you put it where you should be, that you did put it where, like there's just a spectrum now. It's like, to what degree is
but that being said,
okay?
I mean, do you actually put who puts the skirt exactly this? it's on the west side of it. I mean, who does that? Come on, lift it.
The
throw it
other,
up,
the other argument for throwdowns is that it encourages or it enables cache owners not to maintain their own caches. That sounds on the extreme end, but again, it's kind of that slippery slope where if people keep doing that and helping cache owners so that they never maintain their own caches, then you start having this habit of cache owners being able to stand back and not maintain because, well, community will help and maintain. They'll put a replacement. If it's clear where it should be, they'll just keep doing it. So then the community props up caches. So like it gets the ball rolling into all these extreme examples. It's a slippery slope.
But now I'm going to dive deeper down your rabbit hole. Okay. And what about a cache that was put out in 2005 or 2004 that the community maintains strictly because it's a 2004, 2005 cache?
Yep.
And they just it continuously goes away. It continually gets replaced. I can name a bunch of those.
Yeah, and I think there have been a few where that has been kind of an acceptable exception, I think, to some reviewers because of the belovedness and age, and somebody is dedicated to maintaining it, who is not the owner and stuff like it. In that case, I think again without precedent, HQ or reviewers can make exceptions and decide things, but it's not a rule. It's not a law.
No.
So like the general guideline is throwdowns are not allowed. And again, we know what it can be like if they give exceptions here and there and people start fudging the rules and guidelines and everything. And so that is often what reviewers have to end up with. Just across the line, this is the rule. If you break it, too bad.
And the one case where I find a throwdown, and I know it's a throwdown, and it pisses me off to no end, is when I'm out doing, say, a GeoArt or something that also has clues within there to find a bonus, and you need that clue for every single one. You need
throwdown does not have
and you've done the entire series, and you found two that the clue wasn't in there, and now you're having to try to deal with the cache owner who's pissed off about someone did throwdowns. I was like, I didn't do the throwdown. I still want to get the bonus cache. And
is the information in the throwdown, especially for series, if somebody puts a throwdown, there's no information in the cache that you're supposed to be able to find.
Now you're kind of stuck.
We have a series like that local that is, I think it's either 19 or 20 caches with the bonus, and the owner says in the final cache, the bonus cache, that he will delete people's logs who log that bonus cache if they haven't found all of the other caches in the series. Now that's not according to the rules. He can't do that, so people could appeal and have the logs back. But that's the way he plays. And a lot of people are doing it just because they don't want to deal with the hassle, so they're making every effort to find all the caches. But technically he's not allowed to do that. And now that series also has archived or missing caches. So really, if people want to complete the series, nobody can. If they want to abide by his rules, right?
Right. So speaking of GeoArts, talk about Adventure Lab GeoArts. Talk about playing your own way here.
Yeah.
The newest craze in geocaching, Adventure Lab GeoArts. So first I want to talk about the new one. Where did it just come out? It just came out somewhere. Tennessee, I think it was. Like a new one.
Didn't we get an email on that?
Did we? No, we did not. No, it was about something else.
Okay.
But also, how about Florida getting archived? Did you see that? Florida one got archived. Now here's the thing.
I didn't see that.
Okay, let me. Jesse knows this story so well, so I'm paraphrasing her talking to me, laying in bed, and she's just like complaining and not complaining, but like arguing. Not arguing is the wrong word. Just talking about it, like kermuffing about it. So apparently, the Florida one got how there's others that are still out there. New Jersey's got one, Tennessee's got one, Florida had one, Florida got archived. Why, you ask, did Florida get archived and not Tennessee and not New Jersey? Because
reviewer opinion?
No, the geofence. Florida put 0 geofence. So I could have logged it from Chicago.
Oh. Right.
It
So
was a maximum geofence. Yeah.
but yeah, we when we first started doing this, we were getting some all over the world that didn't have a geofence on them, and people were logging them.
So, so I say Jesse was not irritated. It's not the right word, but like she was saying, well, why would they allow you to make it that far if you don't want it to make it that far? Like, don't
So-
give them the option to do that. If you give me the option, I'm going to do it.
So it's also a little nuanced as well, because the argument goes that for say adventure labs in remote areas, if you go there, you have to be able to get the adventure to be able to answer questions. And so the GPS would work, but if you don't have data and you haven't pre-downloaded or cached the adventure into the app, then you can't do anything when you're there. So one of the goals, to my knowledge, was that by extending the proximity, you could allow people to have the app record, like be in an area where you can download the adventure and then go to the location, record that you were there,
Right.
go back and answer the questions.
Right.
So it's more about data access. The issue with Florida, I think, was also that the locations and the questions didn't have anything that you had to go to that location to answer. So two things compounded. One, you didn't have to go to the location, and two, you could answer it from anywhere, essentially.
Yeah,
They were
but
locationless.
I have one in the airport. It has nothing to do with the airport. All five are stacked,
Mhm.
and it's questions about Chicago. It's
Mhm.
and people, it's funny because some people love it and some people are like, oh, I wish you made me move. Like I did it right from the plane.
What's the proximity on it?
The entire airport. So probably, I don't know, a
That
couple
maybe
miles.
maybe they just see that as you still have to go to the location. The problem was that double stacking, the double issue. The location, you didn't have to go to location to get the answer, and you didn't have to go anywhere
Oh, I
to
see what you're
provide
saying.
the
Yeah,
answer.
well, mine you had to. Yeah, mine you have to go to the airport. You do have to go.
Yeah.
To the airport.
So it's essentially a couch caching thing for
Right.
smileys and counts. And it is in the rules that the adventure locations, the adventure labs or lab caches, you're intended to go to a location, just like any other cache, like a multi-cache that has a waypoint. You've got to do something there. You've got to find information, or you've got to do a task, or find a container, or something like that. Same sort of thing with adventure labs. The locations, you're intended to do something with the location, whether it's getting information or going there. That's the intent. And so I think what happened with Florida is it was officially reported that you didn't really have to do that at all, and they judged and agreed and archived it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's who
And yeah, there's loads out there that
actually tells on them.
there's adventure geo arts popping up all over the world now.
Somebody logged them and then told on them. That's what I get.
Mhm. Yeah. No, and that's the thing. Like the people are finding out that you can just use multiple choice even, and just make these simple questions with maximum proximities and put the locations and make arts, and people love them because, well, hey, you get a adventure art and a whole lot of smileys. You're not really learning anything. You're not really doing anything or going anywhere.
192 or something like that. You can get in an hour or something.
Wow.
Bing, bing.
I think the proliferation of this tactic, this trend, is getting the attention of HQ, and that might be why, like, the Florida archival might be the first straw.
Yeah, I'd be interesting to see what they do with it and how they try and curb that, because I don't see. Oh, New Jersey's 255. Excuse me. Sorry, 255. In what? In an hour? Skip, I think. I mean, what is it in? Probably. I mean, how fast can you do it? You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But again, they can crack on it because it is in the guidelines. It does say what you should have to do with an adventure.
Right.
The problem is there's no review. You can edit it, you can save it, make it public, and go.
Yeah. That being said, if I was in New Jersey and I was there and I saw it, would I do it? Yeah, I probably would. You know what? I probably would.
If there was a bonus, if there are bonus caches,
You're a
I
bonus.
probably
I don't know. Hey, Skip, is there a bonus at the end? I don't know. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting.
255 locations.
I thought it was interesting that like all these GeoArts, also Florida just gets boom, Florida gets archived. I was like, oh, that's interesting. You know, like,
I think there was something else to that as well. I think the owner of the venture responded in the forums more of a reason as to why. I don't think it was just boom without cause or anything. I think they said you can keep it if you can do something to fix it, but then there was some reason that he didn't want to or couldn't, and so the decision was to archive. So it wasn't just like, oh, we don't like this, boom, you're gone. There was an exchange to try to rectify it, but
apparently there's three, for the record, there's 3 bonuses there, Jeff. So now it's piqued interest.
Trip to New
see,
Jersey.
and this is where I would play my own way. And other people do this as well. For something like that, instead of getting 258 smileys, you could do all the adventures, get the locations, flog the bonuses, get those 3 caches, and then hide or remove all of the adventure location fines. If you're worried about inflating your stats, you can still do that.
Okay.
So your smileys only go up by 3 because you found 3 caches, and you've just removed all of the adventure stuff. Right. I don't typically do that, but for something like finding 255 locations to get 3 caches, I just might. I don't know. Depends. Is it worth the hassle? That's the other question.
Is it worth the hassle? I don't know. Yeah. It's to me, it's I've never done one before. I'd like to do one just to do it.
Just to do it, yeah.
I've never done it. So maybe just to do it just to see it. I mean, I've done plenty of GeoArt, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, so we did get an email here from GSM Times, our friend GSM Times 2, about this, and he says, here's an interesting one for you guys. When you logged any of the new locationless caches, which is GC8 Frog, GC8 Neat, or GC9 Fave, did you correct the coordinates to where you found them? The posted coordinates for all of them are by the Seattle Center, so one could easily pick up a country, state, and county unless you change the coordinates.
Hang on. But you're changing the coordinates. Your corrected coordinates does not change their origin coordinates, and that's what they count for where it was located.
Yeah. Originally, the locationless caches could be moved to different locations.
Right.
But with these special ones, to my knowledge, that is not the case. You can post logs, but all that ability to change the posted location by anybody not the owner was removed. So you can't change the location of the locationless cache.
So I've got 3, or actually 2, because I haven't done GC Fab, more caches in the Seattle area than what I would have.
Yeah, because I logged all those, but I think I did them after I'd already been to Seattle.
I mean, I've been to Seattle many times and cached there many times. So it's like I've got 2 fewer in Ohio than I should have, because I got 2 more in Washington.
Oh, yeah. I just happened to actually been there.
And just to be clear, in case anybody's listening who isn't aware, you can update coordinates for yourself for your own profile. It's like adjusting a puzzle cache to the location that you now believe it to be. It doesn't change the posted coordinates for everybody else, which I think was what the email was referring to. And you only get the region or the souvenir for the place, the location that the listing is posted to.
I'm just guys, and has anyone has this happened to anyone? Has anyone not been to Seattle actually got Seattle because of those? Will you get it?
That's a good question, since this is a locationless cache. Now, I do know that the locationless caches in the past, when it popped around, it would falsely give you the location for where it was currently at. The Corps of Engineers cache did that to me. For a while I had Minnesota, and it's like I've never cached in Minnesota, but wherever it retired was one of the states that I definitely cached in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that means that your stats would regularly change, because if it's in one state one day, you have that state. If it moves to another country another day, you now have that country and not the other state, and then just keeps moving around, right? I think that's how it worked. Right?
Here, like Kelsey,
Okay.
says,
Apart from souvenirs.
She logged them, and she did not get the state or county.
Okay. So it didn't count. Okay. So they
So maybe
did
they-
something in their coding to.
Yeah, like again, I
Exclude that.
didn't notice it because I already had it, so I didn't.
I wonder if they did that for the one on the space station.
I don't log it. You can always delete your log. Yeah,
I
Tyler
think-
Shoelaces says,
I think they got that one
location
locked
list.
out.
I did get the New York souvenir when I logged the traveling cache years ago. Yeah, that happened to me too. I got the Lewis and Clark one. Do you remember the Lewis and Clark one?
I remember the Lewis and Clark were the travel bugs with the Corps of Engineers. Corps of
Okay,
Engineers was a cache.
Yeah, I got that. Yes, I've gotten that.
Yeah, I think in that case, if the traveling cache was an actual cache listing, like an existing type, then there's no exception to that. It would still give you whatever the location is. I think in this case, the location lists are an exception. These special location lists are an exception, and they just made sure that you're not getting Washington when you log it, maybe.
Okay,
And
but
it does show up on the map. They do
did
show
you
up on the
fix
map.
it, Chad? Did you
Right.
fix it, or did you like? Okay, well, I guess I have Minnesota now.
Oh, when the cache owner changed the location to a new location, it took it. It left.
Right.
I don't know where it retired. I know it's retired. I don't know where
Yes.
it retired to, but it was a state that I already had. So,
Yeah.
So I can't, or I assume it's a state that I already had, because I don't have any states that I haven't actually.
Yeah,
been
because I
to.
think at one point I had Tennessee because it was in Tennessee. Then I eventually got to Tennessee. I've got cash there, but like I remember I had it for a brief period. I'm like, oh, that's not really cool, you know.
Mhm.
Okay. So Jeff, let's talk more about your list here. You have anything less on your list here?
I just lost my show notes.
Oh no. Okay. Let's talk about this here. How closely should a cache owner monitor for valid logs on their caches? Do you, Chad? Do you ever monitor?
Yeah. So to a degree, there's one of my field puzzle caches that you can pretty much tell by what they say that basically indicating that the cache name is TTT number 3. Is it still there? And basically, you pop the top and you see a string there, and they log it as a find and say that it's broken and fell down in there. That's not how you extract the cache, and it's usually a new finder and a new cacher. And it's like, I'm sorry. There's more of a trick to this, and I seriously, sincerely hope that you do come back, but I will have to delete your log here, because unless you found a log sheet, you didn't find the cache. And I would say the vast majority have come back and found it, and are ecstatic at finding it, because it's like, pretty cool find and high favorited. There's another one that occasionally gets hit by a new finder, and I'm questioning, but if I don't have any proof that they didn't find it, I'm not deleting their log. So.
And I think that's a reasonable expectation, because there's a special trick to what you would consider finding the cache.
Right.
You've got to know what to do to actually sign the log. And usually in those cases, the CO might even mention on the description that the log will be checked, and anybody who doesn't sign the real log, their logs will be deleted. We had one like that around here where it was a high difficulty. Cache was easy to find. Container was easy, but there's no log sheet. So there was like a pencil and a pen, but no log sheet. So people kept putting in paper and signing the paper. Their logs kept getting deleted, except for the people who discovered the log sheet in the pen that didn't work.
Right.
So the owner would come out and double check that log sheet to make sure that all the logs that were finds were accurate.
And,
You know,
and
that's the
I
trick.
have found caches. I have found caches like that.
But Jesse's got a barrel of eggs where it's a container. It's got the old Cadbury eggs, like the plastic eggs, whatever those are called. And you got to look
Mhm.
at each one, and each one says nope, 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 nope. They all say nope. And on the bottom of the container is a slip that's got the cache, that's got the log.
Mhm.
So
Right.
she's curious to see how many people will actually DNF it if they don't find it. No, eventually people start dumping logs into the eggs. So
Right.
she has to keep going to check it. Probably once a year she goes out there to check it because she has to maintain it and clean it up, and because people just
Yeah. Unfortunately, these caches, or the ones that get hit like that, are most of them are in Texas, so I don't have the opportunity to go check on them. I will. I have had needs maintenance logs, even and in the past needs archived. I don't think they can do a needs archived anymore, or at least I don't believe they can do a needs archived anymore, because I no longer see those. And I would have one of my local friends from the Houston area go out and check on it, and and I will send out replacements when needed, because one of them is a magnetic numbers on the back of a electrical panel. That trips newbies up a lot.
Yeah, and that kind of checking, I think, from the cache owner is the extreme end. So you get the owners who do that and make sure that everything is accurate. But then you've also got, and we've had some around here where a lot of owners are starting to get lazy. There might be a difficult cache that gets out there, and a whole bunch of people find it, but the log is never checked. And there are times when people know this, and they will go and log the find, knowing that the cache owner won't care. Right? And so now the cache isn't being found because the cache owner is like, it's just a game. They're only cheating themselves.
and aren't they playing their own way? Isn't playing your own way? Your
problem is
if you want an armchair, God bless.
You can.
God bless. You want what's the point? No, but it always is good for the game. But the problem is that, like, if you choose, like, years ago, I was doing the back roads. Okay, the back roads of Illinois, Southern Illinois, back roads, boom, boom, boom. The power trails. And so I kept seeing, and I was with a cashier, and we kept seeing this cashier, a well-known cashier. Okay, well-known cashier, saying his names on the online logs, but we were going to the caches, he wasn't there. And we kept looking, he wasn't there. And so we're having a discussion going, what's the point? Like, what? Like, the whole point of this activity is to get out and to go have fun and people. Like, sitting in your house, just click, 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 click. I mean, if it's you, God bless, man. Play your way. Do you?
Well, see, here's why I think that can skimming over the bigger point, because now that justifies, say, again, a group going out, one person going to a location saying, I can't find it. We'll just log it as found anyway. Tells the entire group. Now there's 30 finds on that cache. The owner thinks it's fine. Everybody who looks at that cache thinks, it's got to be there. It's got to be fine. Right? So now there's not deceptive, but an inaccurate, misleading description of the cache state. Because
but why would you drop? If anything, drop. Why would you just? I would never be like, nah, good enough.
People do this.
No,
people do this and then use that explanation. People play their own way.
Because especially if you have 30 people logging that cache, I agree. That's a whole different story. Like,
this is why for me, it's really just that phrase. That phrase irks me because it's used as an excuse to do things that aren't helpful to the community and can draw the community down or give people bad experiences. Because the excuse is, I'm just playing the way I play.
Well, playing your way you play that's armchairing. I mean, he's armchairing it, And if somebody wants to armchair, God bless. But if you're armchairing for 30 people, that's a different story.
Yeah, I would say even one person, because if you post a find on something that you don't know is there, you've now just misled everybody who looks at that log history, including the cache owner. Right. You're saying that you verified the cache as findable. If the next person who goes,
I have a cache that got DNF by a new cacher. and was like, okay, I'm not gonna go bother checking on this cache. But then, you know, next week someone who has 10,000 finds goes and finds it, does a find on it, is like, okay, that validated it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have a cache that's a total FU hide. It's a terrible hide, and it gets DNF'd all the time, You know, by newbies. Older people, if you got 1,000 finds, you're gonna find it. But newbies, no way, they're not finding it. So I know when I get a string of DNFs, you know, like I go and look and see how many finds I have. You know, like, okay, kid's got 100 finds. I'm not worried about it. You know, but if somebody with 1,000 finds DNFs it, I'll go. It's close to home. I'll go run and make sure it's there. But in terms of checking my logs, honestly, the only logs I check are challenge caches. That's it. I don't check my regular.
That one is important, I think.
Yeah, other, you know, I have a 10 icon day one that you got to, that's difficult. You know, you got to like, plan your day, and you got to respect if someone's going to plan their day to do that, someone can't just go and log it, just because they're a newbie.
Yeah. I've had people from out of town, from out of the country, let me know that they're coming to find one of my big challenge caches, and I'm like, oh, let me know. I'll come and I'll join you. I'll be there. Make sure you actually find it and get the smiley because you've come all this way. Glad to meet you.
What do you think about this? A virtual cache. It's actually a virtual reward cache, so it's been out for the last couple of years, but wasn't under the new rules, and the cache owner requirement on it is that you take a picture and you have a specific thing while you're there and post that, and she deletes the log if you don't have that picture. This happens to be the Seattle Space Needle, by the way.
I don't think you can do that,
but she does it.
She can't get away with it.
And I forgot about it. I didn't log it while I was out there, and so I just got around to logging those at the end of the year.
Oh, you got to take a picture with it. To pick the picture
with the bolts.
The bolt. I did that.
Yeah, and I forgot. And it was like, when I'm logging, I was like, I was lazy. Okay, I grabbed a couple pictures of me with the Space Needle, and I didn't grab that picture. And no question, or no prompting me or anything. It was just like delete.
Yep. My guess is
I was like, what the?
She doesn't want you to use an old picture as well.
Okay, so
that's my guess.
And I would say if there's something like that, like an ALR.
One of the pictures, you could see geocachers all around, and you could see the 2022 celebration.
Yeah, ALRs are not allowed anymore. You can't be.
No.
And it was like, how does she get by with that? I don't know.
Yeah. That's why there are guidelines, and cache owners have guidelines as well. And if they do something like that, and the geocacher cares enough, they could appeal the deletion of the log and have it reinstated and logged.
That's true. I could have done that, but then I read back through there, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember specifically going and finding some of the bolts and taking a picture with it. So I stuck that up there and sent her a thank you message for deleting my previous log.
And just for the definition, in case people don't know what ALR is, it's additional logging requirement, something that a cacher has to do above and beyond the expectation of the cache type in order for the find log to stand.
Did we have that in our trivia last a few weeks ago?
An ALR? I think we did.
ALR, yeah.
I think the only things with ALR is obviously challenge caches. You have to qualify for the challenge in order to be able to log it as found. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Might be semantics, but you might be able to describe earth caches and virtuals as additional logging requirements, but that's part of the cache type, doing the task, taking a photo, that sort of thing. It's allowed within the cache type, so it's not really an ALR.
Right, but I don't know if they can actually disqualify you if your answers aren't what they deem them to be.
No, that's
correct.
No, you need to show a reasonable effort to answer them.
Right.
Yeah, there's a wrong answer. I mean, if you're, you
can't just throw random answers at them, because then they could delete your log. It won't get appealed. You need to show that you at least tried.
There's no right or wrong. Maybe there's no right or wrong. There's no wrong answer.
I have dealt
with.
This
is cold water and you're 5 degrees. They're not going to delete your log.
I have dealt with 2 different earth cache owners that have had opinions that varied from mine. Let's just say that.
Really?
It's like they're looking for a specific thing, and it's like I give them that specific thing, but I also state other details that impact it that maybe they did not observe, but I observed, and so I got chewed out by.
So this is it just came to mind. This is really interesting. Whenever we talk about things like this, about everybody plays their own way, we always go into describing different ways that people play that irk other people, that bother other people. And so it's like there's always this conflict. Everybody plays differently, but that usually means I don't like the way that other person plays, or vice versa.
Sure.
So I think the other side to this, everybody plays their own way, is what you can do about it yourself. And I think a lot of people take that backseat and say, I'm not going to worry about it because it doesn't affect me. So you play your way and I'll play mine.
But it's also it's a personal game. That's why people get affected by it, because it is a personal game.
Well, it's
Your stats are irrelevant.
everybody's actions, yes.
But your
everybody's stats,
I mean,
no, but logs, yes.
Completely irrelevant.
Stats, no, but logs, yes. Logs are community, and logs indicate something.
That's only
by
on
their
my
type of
finds, though.
content.
Your logs, I only give a shit about your logs on my caches.
When I'm caching and I'm looking at other people's logs history, that log history, at least recent, indicates to me the state of the cache, and it can very much determine my decision about what I do with that cache, whether I skip it or go for it or plan a day trip to go find it. All that stuff is relevant because I'll look at the log history. And I think everybody does that.
Yeah, but yes, I do that, but I overlook the copy and paste logs. I do that.
Oh yeah.
Skim
Scroll.
Yeah, scroll. So if there's 30 of those, I know, okay, that doesn't mean crap, until I get to somebody who took the time.
Yeah, we make judgment calls on the validity of logs ourselves, but in and of themselves, they indicate something by their existence on the history of the cache.
So what did we learn tonight?
Think about others more than yourself. That's what I like to go back to.
What did we learn about playing your own way? I mean, it is a personal game. It's difficult because, for example, if I have a challenge cast and I delete someone's log because they didn't fulfill this challenge, but he's saying, hey man, I'm just logging a cache. That's the way I play. I just log him. Is that wrong?
You deleting or
him logging it.
Yeah, it's wrong.
It comes
If
down
you
to,
do not
again,
qualify for a challenge cache, you should not. That's one thing I'm going to say for certain. It's like you should.
I agree with you.
That is a requirement.
Although,
what about a puzzle cache?
There's one where I did sign. There's only one challenge cache that I've been challenged on. And this one was something about, find a cache where every letter in your caching name is used. And Z, there's not many places with Z's. Zephyr Cove is where I had to go find the cache. And the cache that I found was in Zephyr Cove Park. Zephyr Cove Park technically is outside of the city limits of Zephyr Cove, but the final coordinates was actually in Zephyr Cove.
Come on.
I first didn't know that it was outside of Zephyr Cove. I thought it was part of Zephyr Cove, and it's Zephyr Cove Park. You would think that it's in there. But then he said, well, here's the actual boundary here. And it's like, oh, but are you aware that the final coordinates are over here? It's like, that doesn't matter. And it's like, okay, screw you. Next time I'm up there, I will grab another cache. And I grabbed another cache and actually two caches to get it. But it's like, yeah, that one's on kind of on the gray area.
Yeah, I agree.
Going back to,
go ahead.
Going back to the puzzle cache thing, we know that the one rule for physical caches is that the name should be in the log sheet. That's
Yep.
really the only rule. If your name is in the log sheet, you can log it found.
It counts.
Because we know that there's a huge spectrum of how that can happen with friends, with groups. So when it comes to puzzles, I think what happens is if your name is on the log sheet, you can log it. The cache owner can't dictate how you solve the puzzle, or that
Correct.
becomes an additional logging requirement.
Correct.
So
Sure.
if there's a puzzle there and you use a helper, is that allowed?
Or
If
if,
there's
or
a puzzle there
somebody hands me the chords.
and hands you the coordinates, is that allowed? If there's a puzzle there, but you know that the cache is physically in this little gap here because the hint is pretty clear and you can see it, and you sign in, is that allowed? If your name is in the log sheet, then yeah. Now, apart from that, personally, you might not feel right if maybe you didn't solve the puzzle the right way.
Right.
Like personally, for something like that, if it's a puzzle that I think is really intriguing, but I don't solve it, but I'm with a friend and we sign in anyway, I add that puzzle to a list of found but unsolved. So that maybe someday I'll go back and I can solve it and learn something by the puzzle.
Right.
That's the way I play.
I have literally found a puzzle cache at 2 a.m. accidentally while making my way out of a park during a first to find event.
Many a time.
And then, I took there's no GC code on there, but I took a picture of the log sheet of the people that had signed it and the dates. And also I signed it and dated it, stuck it back in there, did a little research, figured out what cache it was. But then I went and solved the cache.
You did the research. Okay. I got two examples here. Okay, 2 more examples. One, you find an archived cache, which is basically litter now. Do you log it?
If it's not archived and it's not
archived.
locked,
It's
if
archived.
it's not locked,
Locked.
it's not locked. I'll log. I've done this before. I'll log it.
Oh,
found
so
it,
have I,
pick
of
up-
course.
pick it
Oh
up.
yeah, I'm asking you. Like,
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. Hell yeah.
It was found. It's an accurate log. Found it. It's not locked. It's allowed. So, yep. But it's also archived,
it's
so
archived.
it shouldn't be findable. So pick it up as trash.
Right.
So you're saying pick it up, don't leave it, pick it up. You would pick
I'll
it up.
pick it up. Yeah. Now, see, this gets into the other
It's
argument
not
that
your cache.
it's and that's the thing, right? It's not. It's archived. It's unlisted on geocaching.com, but we don't necessarily know the owner's intents. It could be listed somewhere else. It could be there for some other reason still. It's still their property. Now, I extend that to because when I did that, it was because the container was shattered. It was broken, and it was not touched for
It was garbage.
years. It was overgrowth. It's trash, but it was found. So in that case, I feel fine with that. But yeah, if you find a good condition cache that was archived, say 2 months ago, and it's still sitting there, I'd probably log it found and then contact the owner.
I have asked the owner either before logging the cache, and in some cases, I've seen power trails it just get archived, and it's like, hey, we were going out there next week. Do you mind if we go and log what we can? And do you want us to pick up the containers or not? And I've been, we've been given permission before, and they said just leave the containers. So, and it's like, and that's what we've done.
There's a cache that there was, I can't say there is, it's years ago I found this. There was a cache that in his description said there's 2 other archived caches in this same area, and he gives you the GCs. He goes, log them and log them. It was a threefer. It's basically a threefer. Like, he lets you know where the other 2 like that.
It's kind of getting around the proximity thing.
Like, that's like, wow. That's like, wow. I was like, hey, I'll log all 3. Yeah, I'm like, I did it, but like,
That'd be an interesting tactic. What if you were to publish a cache, archive it after a while, publish another one in its place slightly different, keep doing that 5 or 6 times, and then you have this circle of 20 meters with 20 caches in there, only one active.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I heard that existed. It was a threefer, man. Yeah. So I guess, to me, yeah, it's you make good points, Jeff. Like, yeah, it's a personal game, but obviously it's a community game as well. And things that you do that not everyone might agree with, brings down the community. So where's that line? I guess where's that line drawn?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you got, I don't know.
You don't want to live trying to please everybody else, but if you only live to please yourself, you take everybody down with you, essentially, I guess you could say.
But how are you though?
Somewhere in between the two is the sweet spot. You got to figure that out.
Chad, final words? Anything left?
No.
Well said, Chad. All right, Geoff, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. It's been a pleasure to debate this with you. It's always good. Ethics count, Gia sometimes too says. Ethics count.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then wait, Tiva says if it's archived, shouldn't it be removed?
I think the archive caches should be removed, but
I'd say technically up to the owner of the physical property.
Yeah.
Really, all the archived means it's no longer listed on geocaching.com. That's the way we should look at an archived listing. It doesn't mean there is nothing there. It just means there's nothing listed on geocaching.com because the property is still owned by the cache owner, not the website.
The only time I've archived caches besides events were when the cache was MIA. So, and so that's just me, but and I have gone out before to check to see if it's missing and before archiving it. But I don't put out power trails.
Yeah, I don't archive. I archive if it's I think if I'll give it 3. I'll give it 3 shots. Like I'll replace it twice. And if I have to replace it, if it's gone missing 3 times, it's not meant to be there. It's like the society does not want it there. So
I mean, I've got a couple traditionals in Houston that are still going strong after 7.5 years.
My first cache is still active. My first cache from 2008.
But this is without any maintenance.
Oh, no, I do plenty of maintenance on that one.
Now I've got a couple caches that aren't your tradition. One of them technically is a traditional, but it's not your traditional type of cache. I will do maintenance with the assistance of people from Houston. But the other ones is like once they're done, if they're a plain Jane cache, once they're done, they're done. They're out.
Okay.
Well, in so many words, to sum it for myself, I guess I would say that I would boil it down to play your own way within the guidelines, but on top of that, for the sake of the community, I would advocate for also playing by the golden rule.
There you go. The golden rule.
In so many words.
All right. Everybody, thanks for listening tonight. We appreciate it, chat room. You guys were awesome as always. Next week, Chad. Geoff, thanks so much again, buddy, for coming on the show. You stick around, okay? Just stay right there. I'm going to throw you on mute. Chad.
Yes, sir.
Weirdly and ironically enough, I promise you this was not planned. Next week's show, Chad. We have never talked about this since I've taken over the show. We've never brought this up. Next week's show, we're talking, Chad. Let's talk cool challenge caches.
Cool challenge caches.
Cool.
Is there such a thing?
Oh, yeah. I love challenge caches. Cool challenge caches. And no, little Jeffrey's upset that he's not on that show because he hosted a show for years just about challenge caches. So we're talking cool challenge caches next week's, Chad. How many have you found, Chad? Have you found a bunch?
Me?
Yeah, challenge caches.
I don't know, a couple hundred, a few hundred.
There you go. There you go. You're
I got another couple hundred of signed, but sitting in waiting mode.
All right. So good news. We should have Jesse back by then. So that's a good news. So everybody who's Jesse fans, she should be back next week. So, all right, Chad. So that's next week's cool challenge caches. I'm closing this show. Stick a fork in it. Please join us again every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website, geocachingpodcast.com. The archive video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on your favorite podcatcher. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click the subscribe or get notified buttons to know exactly when we go live. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. For tiers starting as low as $5, you get a ton of additional information, extra video, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cashly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Sense Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Arted Crafted, PathTags.com, Geocaching Adventures LLC, and GeoGo. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week. So we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we'll talk to you guys next week. And we're clear. There we go, Chad. All right, everybody. Thanks so much, guys. Jesse fans. Oh, Cash Line's a Jesse fan. All right, guys. Thank you so much. With Jeff, you stay on the line. Everybody else, thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you guys next week. You guys be well and be safe. Be good. Bye.
Later.